We're live. We're here. We're here.
Live. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 long weeks and about 8 minutes of a little bit of chaos here with some technical difficulties, we are once again back in the flesh here live in living color from the On the Money Sports Complex here in the On the Money Sports Lounge, the mega powers of podcasting, with a new edition of On the Money Podcast. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. We have post-reaction to the NFL draft, post-reaction to WrestleMania, about 5 to 6 weeks of MLB baseball that has gone down, dead in the middle of the first round of the NBA playoffs, the real NBA playoffs, not the play-in, ladies and gentlemen, and gearing up for what is destined to be a hot summer. And here we are live tonight to bring you some of the hottest topics in the sports multiverse all across the board. Per usual, you know who I am, the champion of all leagues that matter. And alongside me, the commissioner of all leagues that matter. Besides Mike, of course. None other than
Mike,
Oscar
get your shit.
Money Music.
Mike, get your house in order. It's complete chaos in Kingpins.
Complete, utter chaos. Of course, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, the draft did go down this past week. We were hanging out, pounding some beers, crushing some appetizers at Buffalo Wild Wings for the first round of the NFL draft. There were 2 more rounds after that as the weekend progressed. We are now
living. I feel bad for that poor waitress because we were ordering a lot and she did her best keeping up with us.
Shout out to her.
Not to mention that she was also taking care of 2 other tables that were a party of 8 or 9.
Hey man,
so
I'm a chiseled veteran at this shit. I do this all day.
I tipped her well.
That's how the money's made.
Hopefully I will say this.
I know I did.
I don't think I'm ever getting lemon pepper dry rub again.
Not my favorite place to go for food. However, with all those TVs there and some cold beverages.
We watched the college blowout.
We watched a baseball team that we never heard of get absolutely destroyed for no reason. And we had a good time kicking back and watching the draft go down. Paul, what's going on, bro? The first one to check in for tonight's podcast. But yeah, man, tonight we're going to sit back. We're going to reflect. We had an additional week on top of, the draft itself, on top of Mania and all that good stuff to be able to reflect and process and digest everything that we saw go down to potentially be able to present it in a better fashion
Chris?
Than to be all willy-nilly, fresh off of it, coming out, what we just witnessed, what we just saw. We had some time to register, to process the things that we lived. Of course, as you know, our fantasy leagues are running wild. The dynasty trades have been absolutely insane. I'm counting about 5 trades in the last 48 hours that went down post-draft. So there's a chain reaction of events that happens after this goes down because of the amount of information that you're getting, the knowing where the player is actually going to be. Some destinations we like, some destinations were head scratching, and some destinations it took us until Saturday to finally find out where some players were going to go. Players that we were told were going to end up going in the top 5. However, the draft spoke, ladies and gentlemen. The draft spoke. It decided a lot of teams and players' fate. And tonight, we're going to take time and we're going to break some of that down. And it looks like Den has responded to you back when you, due to the technical difficulties.
Yeah,
he's responding back.
I figured it out already.
How to go live without him. Thanks a lot, Den.
Yeah, but you did nothing for us.
Per usual, On the Money Podcast and the mega powers of podcasting figure out how to do it by themselves before anybody can chime in with any suggestions or any help. So thank you, Den. Save your suggestion for the suggestion bin. On the Money Podcast has got it covered. Our in-house editor and producer has got it covered, per usual. That's why I take charge as far as the introduction goes, because this guy's too busy working with the gimmicks and making sure everything's afloat and making sure that we're going live. The tech-savvy Oscar O'Money strikes again. And thanks to him, we're able to go live. No thanks to Den. No disrespect, but we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. And that's right. If you're seeing it in the comments right now, we're talking Dynasty because I spent a good portion of my morning, apart from setting my baseball lineups for fantasy baseball, putting out dynasty trades because the last 48 hours.
Oh, so that's the excuse we're using for the next now because they're a scrappier team, the Pistons.
Last night, Detroit is a much scrappier team than the Magic. Relax. Last night, I was unfortunately at work until late, so I was missing out on the smorgasbord of trades that were going on and the couple fleecings that went down.
And I started it
in the Kingpins League.
I started it that morning.
So I wanted to be involved in it, but I couldn't because it happened to be not just a night at work, but it was a busy night at work.
It started Sunday with Terrell's trade with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went into the other morning, yesterday morning, with me and Matt.
What up, Mike? What up, Chris?
Yeah. And then it just got crazy last night.
It got crazy. Yesterday, there were 5 trades made within the league. It went down. That is what happens. Everybody was waiting with bated breath in the Kingpins Dynasty League for the draft to go down. And once the draft went down, there were some teams that were okay, some teams that were better off, and some teams where there was just too much shit going on. Nick had a damn fire sale. Yeah. And we saw the strategies of different fantasy managers employed immediately. I went back into the first round. What up, Matt?
It's not happening.
I told you earlier what it was, bro. I told you the 110 is available. The 203 is available. Your 2026 first is still available. So maybe we could work something out. Maybe not. Either way, I put a lot of time and energy into making the negotiations that I was making today. I talked to about 6 different trade partners. No luck so far. It's still early. We're on the podcast now, so we could get a trade to go live.
Isaiah
if
likely
you want
for that
to.
pick?
What pick?
For the 110?
No.
Okay.
Not in your wildest dreams.
Okay.
You have enough. You have enough picks, all right? What you need to do at this point, you need to hit on your picks. Because at the end of the day, what good are all those picks if you're not hitting on them? You put more pressure on yourself for a draft that is lackluster than anybody else. Because you need to come out of this.
It's not going to be lackluster.
You need to,
there are some studs there. They're going to be some bona fide players.
Right. Well, as of right now, we control the top 3 picks of this year's 2025
the wide
draft.
receivers.
We are the 101, the 102, and the
3
103.
amazing wide receivers, I think, in this draft. There's like 5 really good running backs in this draft. You have 2 really good tight ends.
Send it, bro. Send it.
He's going to send you something and then include that first-round pick and Trey McBride in it.
It can't be any worse than what I just got sent by Nick, who wanted to just dump all the 3rd and 4th round picks in exchange for Jerry Jeudy and Brock Bowers. Bro, I don't have 3rd and 4th round picks right now by design. I got rid of all that crap, and I got myself value. If we ain't talking first round picks as far as draft picks go, I don't want to hear it. I mean, we can talk second rounders for 2026 and 2027, but that's about as far as it goes. If we ain't talking first rounders, then you need to have that conversation elsewhere.
Yo, Alex still hasn't denied my trade.
He declined mine.
So if he declined yours, I know he's seen mine.
Ugh, that's murky.
But that's what I wanted.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get it. It's a little murky though. It's
but
all right.
Here,
somebody has to do the dirty work, man. Somebody has to do the dirty work.
That's his backup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that one.
A whole lot of GMing going on. Football is not until September.
He hasn't declined
but for true dynasty managers, you know that this shit is 365.
Is he treating
no
a big chicken
days
sandwich
off.
for a Popeyes basket?
Well, I'm going to find out soon. I should be getting the notification once he finalizes the deal. I'm happy that the Jets went offensive tackle first.
All right.
Yeah.
5:30 is the draft Sunday.
You got to be happy with that. The fact that the Jets, they went for the trenches, which is the right thing to do.
That's what I sent to you when you were told I'm
Yeah,
not
I
reaching.
I saw.
I was like, if anybody's going to appreciate that, that's you.
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, the draft time for the rookie draft for our Dynasty League got rescheduled to 5:30. Congratulations, Democracy
That
wins.
means he's staring at my trade, too. The Fighting Jimmies are in the building.
Fighting Jimmies are clocking in after a big win over Bowmanatrix. Good shit, buddy.
That had to hurt.
Cheers to you.
Fandom versus fandom.
She was sick. She was mad as hell she lost. And right now she's taking her frustrations out on Seth, which is what most of us do in the baseball league each and every week.
She's got a better record than me so far.
Who?
I'm getting my batters.
Oh, yeah, your team is the shits, bro.
My batters suck.
Your team is the shits. You're the Nimmo Impalers.
Right now, my God, who's getting rock pitching tonight? It's Sanchez?
Chris, he just looked at your matchup for the first time, I think, apparently, for the first time today. He just got into Yahoo and is looking at the matchup. It's Chris versus Oscar. And shout out to the Sandlot Baseball Association.
Can only last 4 innings.
The most important fantasy baseball league that there is out there, bro. Don't matter. It don't matter what you got going on. Because what we've got going on is a lot bigger and better.
Oh, all right. Sanchez, you couldn't go 6 innings, dog, and give me the quality start.
Oscar, set your damn lineup, Seth. Oscar's team is the drizzling shits. You went with Vladdy in the first round. It's not panning out well for you, but there is plenty of time.
But Bryce hasn't done shit either this year.
Yeah, Bryce ain't doing much either, but swinging and missing, realistically. He'll get some hits here and there, but he's doing more than Vladdy, though. In fairness, you know, you had to change your team name
Ben Naylor
for this guy.
for Nolan Arenado, and Arenado has gone 0 for 5 today in a doubleheader. Are you freaking kidding me?
Just got a couple trade offers here live, so I'm about to check them out. The Brothers of Destruction have both sent me a trade offer at the same time, so I'm gonna have to. You might have to take the wheel while I look over this real quick.
The reason why our phones are buzzing right now with trades is because we're in a fantasy football dynasty league, which there is no off season. We're allowed to, the moment the Super Bowl ends, we can trade, we can add, we do everything.
Sorry, Mike.
Right now, our draft is happening this Sunday at 5:30. I have 6 picks in the first 2 rounds. 4 in the first and the first 2 in the second.
Bryce Banana Bread Head Harper.
And people could sit back and say, oh, there's not that many skilled players. This is the lackluster. Listen, those running backs don't look lackluster to me.
There's only so many that can
those tight ends don't look lackluster to me. Especially Lovelace, where he's going.
Loveland?
The skinny host of this show sucks, but well, I guess that's because you rejected his trade.
Yeah. That's not enough for Brock Bowers. You know that already. I know that already. Nick, you can just forget about Brock Bowers. You're never going to get him in any circumstance, especially after the deal that you sent me 20 minutes to us going live. It's not going to happen.
Risk it for the biscuit,
and you don't even have to worry about Bowers because you now have George Kittle. You're good. So anybody who's inquiring about Brock Bowers, get it out of your head. Don't worry about it. It's not a real thing. He's not on the table, and he will never be on the table. So we can just move on from that. I just got 2 terrible offers. Mikey's was better than Matt's at least, but it was still bad. You know?
What was Matt's? Like 20 picks?
Trash. He's offering me Tutu Atwell. And the fucking a second rounder, a 209 for like the 110, some trash, some absolute garbage. So I'm gonna make it a point to watch his team crash and burn.
Oh, so you mean you're cutting him off this early? This is it?
He might get cut off after that.
Because you cut him last year.
I cut him off last year because he was playing these same games. He never learns. He's gonna have to figure it out without me. I'm trying here, guys. I'm really trying. I sent you guys offers. I sent the offers without asking for any. I tried to set the parameters for what I wanted. Everybody's fooling around. Everybody's playing games. So you know what? Figure it out. Because I'm good with where I'm at and where my team is at right now. I don't know if everybody else can
I don't
say
think
the same.
Anybody in this dynasty league is picking Shedeur Sanders.
Somebody will pick him.
Well, then they're fools.
Somebody will pick him.
I'll take Sanders if he's there in the 4th.
Some of you have like 60 draft picks for the 2025 draft. So you're going to have no choice but to pick Shedeur Sanders. I have 3 picks as of right now. If I don't
quarterback room is stacked with young talent.
I've got the 101, a.k.a. Ashton Genty, the 110, which we'll see what happens, and the 203. And after I make those 3 picks, if I don't trade one of them, see ya. The rest of you guys can figure out what you're going to do with the rest of the trash in this year's draft class. I'm going for the value, okay? And then after the draft, you can talk to me if you feel as though there's any moves that can be made. No, you know what, Chris? No, I'm not going to at you. I am going to give you your flowers right now because your reasoning behind why you didn't want to trade with me was the most honest answer and the most respectable answer that I've gotten all day. Because you recognize that my team in our Dynasty League is a threat. My team is the best. And you can roll your eyes all you want, but at the end of the day, I've gotten championships on the backs of all you guys this past year. So my team is a threat. You didn't want my team to be stronger, and you openly said it. You said, bro, I'm not going to trade with you because this is going to make you too strong, and
Chris,
I still
you just
want
lost
to
your
compete.
man card.
No, because if he would have made that deal with me, you guys would have looked at him as the ultimate martyr, and it would be like, how could you do this? You're crazy. Because if that trade would have went down, it would have made everybody sick to their stomachs, and it would have propelled me to the top of the league just like that. But instead of the go around, instead of the blasey blah, he told me straight up, I don't want to make this deal with you because it's going to make it harder to beat you when I have to face you. That's all you got to say sometimes, people. Not the send me somethings, not the paragraph conversations with no actual trade offer, not the bullshit Tutu Atwells. Just
The Christian Watsons.
I didn't win this year, Matthew, because I was tanking. The only league out of the 8 leagues that I was in last year where I didn't make the playoffs was the Dynasty League where I was tanking in. But guess what? The tank job is over. The deed is done. The 101 is in my pocket. And now what are you going to do when I'm actually taking this league seriously this year? You ask yourself that when you're looking at your lineup and you're telling yourself, I wonder if Jerome Ford can get me 9 points. Can Jerome Ford get me 9 points in the flex
Matt,
2 spot?
how mad you going to be when I pick Quinshawn Junkins? The real RB1 in Cleveland.
Well, Matt actually has the 106 in this year's draft. So he's in a good spot. He's in a spot where his pick still matters to an extent unless he trades it away because of the deal I believe that he made with
Matt's
Nick.
Matt's not going to pick a running back in the first round. He's going to pick a tight end.
You think so?
Yeah, it's going to be one of the tight ends.
Well, his starting tight end is Jake Ferguson, so that would make sense.
Yep.
He's got a top 15 tight end as of right now. You need a top 10.
Tyler Warren can instantly become a top 10 for him. Same thing with Lovelace. So what are you going to do, Matt? Huh?
I really don't know how this
buddy?
is going to play out. You're not getting Judkins. Oh, yeah. Talk that shit, Mike. Talk that shit. Rel. Okay, I'm sorry. Rel has the 106. My apologies. That's right. So Terrell has the 106 now after the wheeling and dealing that he's done. He's back into the mix in the first round. Matt is trying to get back into the first round. Most of the first round picks are monopolized between me and this guy right now as we speak. Mikey's got the 109, which he just offered me thinking he was going to get Brock Bowers for it. Try again. You're going to have to see what Cade Otton can do for you, bud. Because he ain't getting Bowers for that. You sure
Cade
ain't
Otton's not
getting
even
McBride for that.
Cade Otton is like a weekly, he's boom or bust. If you start him, there's a chance you're going to get 5 points.
I mean, that's a good place to start
And
when it comes down to
every 4 weeks he'll give you one good game. But guess what? That Buccaneers offense is loaded with talented wide receivers.
You don't talk about a lot of mouths.
Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Jaleel McMillan.
I never said he was bad, bro. He's not Bowers, though. That's all I'm saying. He ain't Bowers. He ain't bad.
And not to mention now,
he's top 10.
Their new pick, Emeka Egbuka.
I know Otton is not bad. At one point, I had Otton, Bowers, and McBride last year. And I got to the second round of True Legends before I got ousted.
Otton's value went down with another receiver pick.
He can still crack the top 10 because of the potential this offense has.
Or he could crack the top 10 because there's not that many good tight ends.
And also, yes, remember the fact that we're talking about the position of tight end where it's hard to even mold a top 10.
I sent you something else. Is this what we're going to do all night on the draft? I mean on the podcast?
What
distract us?
He didn't send me shit.
We are respected.
Let me see.
We are respected podcast journalists here.
No, I'm good on that too. Sorry, bud. Well,
Matt
you know
just.
what? I'm just gonna let it sit there.
Let me see.
I'm gonna pull an Oscar.
Oh, you're. Let me see.
When you really think about it, and when you really look at it, like when you say to yourself, "Who's gonna be there?" You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it and how I'm valuing and comparing.
Well,
everything.
his value went down a little bit too.
Evans and Godwin will miss games per usual. I mean, there was a lot of times where Otton was
That's
healthy
fine.
in the game, and he was barely scoring.
You
10
know who
points
was
too,
wide
though.
receiver 1 when those guys weren't playing good? McMillan.
You're right. Nobody is Bowers. The closest thing to Bowers is Trey McBride, and I have him too.
He may not have had a great sophomore season, but Sam Laporta's right there.
Yeah, Sam Laporta is a top 5. Sam Laporta, he's top. And you know who else is top 5? George Kittle. You know,
And he got paid today.
Before his quarterback got paid. He
$40 million guaranteed, 4 years, $76 million altogether.
Highest paid tight end in football right now, George Kittle. Well deserved. When you really think about it.
I mean, if you paid him that much, you think he could still go out there and can play. So maybe Nick got a good end on that deal. I mean, you were trying to get Kittle too. I looked at Kittle as well.
I love George Kittle. I'm a George Kittle guy. And when you think about it, he's the wide receiver 1 for Brock Purdy as far as Brock Purdy's career to this point. When you look at the distribution and the numbers that Purdy's put up, look at how much of that goes
Thompson
to George Kittle.
pickpockets Steph Curry for his 5th steal of the first half, slams home an and 1 sledgehammer.
Good job. Now we got to win 2 more. And close out the game tonight. Of course, NBA playoff basketball is going down. Rockets with their backs against the wall, going up against the Warriors tonight. Later on tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers, same scenario, same situation, trying to avoid elimination against the Timberwolves team and an Anthony Edwards who is red hot right now and absolutely destroying them each and every game that they play. It's all going down. It's a good, fun time of year in the sports multiverse because of the fact that you have baseball just starting up, basketball heating up with the playoffs, and football, making its comeback now that we're in draft season, which draft season translate into dynasty season, which translates
a lot of people are going to start having their rookie camp soon.
Yep.
They're going to have their voluntary camp soon.
Yeah.
And you're looking at mandatory mini camps next month. Because listen, basically tomorrow's May 1st, guys. So we're 2 months away from mandatory mini camps. We're 3 months, 3 months away from training camp. 4 months away from a preseason game. It's just like that. I was just looking at the calendar today going, oh my gosh, where is the time gone so far?
It flies. It absolutely flies.
And I've enjoyed this off season a lot more than I have in regular years where I didn't care. I've been watching other things. I've been taking care of other things, letting the time pass, and it's worked.
It's good to have baseball back, though. It's good to have baseball. Keeps me busy.
Overall,
days like today freaking suck, though. My bets today are dog shit. It's frustrating. But
just a reminder more. Listen, dog, don't you get the 10-day grace period? I think we all get it.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, listen, Chris, I feel your pain. My first 2 checks of the month suck because that's where all my bills are at. Yeah, last 2 checks of the month, they're I can play with them.
It's always that 1 week where everything piles up,
and you're just sitting there going, "Damn it!"
It's always
I'm over here bringing
that 1 week out of the month where everything kind of piles up, and you just gotta brace yourself.
First 2 weeks of the month, I bring lunch to work. The last 2 weeks, it's like, I can go here.
Brace yourself for the impact of what's to come.
Yeah,
those due dates are.
But overall, last week was great. The 3-day draft was amazing.
It was fun.
The first round was unpredictable, like I said it was going to be.
I'm usually not tuning in on Saturdays like that, but before work, I had that shit on over baseball because I was just sitting there watching.
I cut the cord. Like I even cut YouTube.
Watching.
I cut YouTube TV, so I don't get like regular television channels. All I have is streaming sites. Then most of the shows I like, the next day after they air, they go on the app. Here I was messing around my television upstairs and just seeing if I could connect to like the satellite, get the 3, 4, 10 channels because I seen the draft was on Channel 6. Here I had this NFL channel that they gave me, and I was watching the draft, but with like the C squad, like the guys inside the studio who weren't allowed to go to Green Bay for it.
Yeah. Just like the watch along and shit.
The host, I had no clue who was. I knew who Bucky Brooks was. And then the other guy, I'm like, who the hell is? But I'm just watching and going along, and they were boring as hell. I'll be the first to tell you that.
That's why they're not on the main.
So I get why they gave that shit free.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I was impressed with, a lot of people made some picks that weren't mind-boggling. Well, Cleveland's draft messed me up.
Don't they always?
You move back 2 spots to grab a DE that you valued more than Abdul Carter, basically. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling your fan base. Oh, but we got an extra first-round pick next year and a couple extra-round picks. That means you're probably going to try to go all in next year and find your franchise quarterback. However, I just don't think you got the value there for the player you picked. Because if you pick Abdul Carter on the opposite side, of Myles Garrett, that defensive line gets really, really hard for any offense to battle against. For the Derrick Henry-led Ravens, the Joe Burrow-led, Browns, Jalen Warren and whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be for the Steelers, it's going to be issue to get yardage. But now you got this other guy, like, I don't see it. Like, I think he's going to be good, but he's not Abdul Carter good.
No.
So kudos to the Giants not wasting any time. As soon as that draft trade took place, immediately once Travis Hunter was taken by the Jaguars, who I also think gave up too much to move up for him. But hey, if that's your guy, go get him. The Giants had a solid first round.
They did.
Jackson Dart could be that guy. Who knows? Jackson Dart's not going to be asked to come in and play immediately at all. Russell Wilson was named the starter already, but Russell Wilson's also known to get hurt and miss time, and they got Jameis Winston, who they'll just plug and play.
Dart shouldn't be seeing the field this year, unless shit.
I don't think Dart's going to see the field until maybe December when they're knocked out of the playoffs. By then, it's fine. They'll probably start with 3 games left, and who knows? If Russell Wilson stays healthy, Russell Wilson's moonball is going to be going crazy to Malik Neighbors this year. He's going to be moonballing the shit out of that ball of Neighbors.
I said it. Russ can get him 6 wins.
Exactly. 6, 7 wins.
Still trying to figure things out. I don't know what that means for the futures of the head coach and the GM.
Oh, they'll stay there because it's progressive improvement from the prior year. Especially if it looks like you see the progressive. Because, you're not going to bring in a new coach next year. If they win 6 or 7 games this year, you're not going to bring in a new coach to take over this quarterback of Jackson Dart with the draft capital that they used to move back up to get him.
I really, really, really like the Abdul Carter pick.
It's a great pick.
I'm not big on the Dart pick because the Dart pick reminds me of picks that the Giants have made in the past that the Giants fan base is going to spend the next 5 years bitching and complaining about. That's what the Dart thing feels to me, because we actually watched the draft with real pure Giants fans and we saw the reactions, and not everybody was happy, one was mad. Not everybody was happy-go-lucky with the decision making.
Matt became his brother this year.
Matt stood up and was expecting for them to call Shedor's name. However, after we saw where Shedor landed in this draft, maybe you're feeling a little bit better about the Dart pick overall. But
we'll touch on that in a second.
I feel as though that particular pick, the fact that they traded up back into the first round for none other than Jackson Dart, could be the catalyst for what this fan base is going to be yelling at each other about for the next 4 to 5 years.
Let them learn the playbook.
Because half of the fan base is okay with it. The other half is never going to be okay with it. They're never satisfied.
He's the quarterback that runs a style offense that Brian Daboll likes. So, is
Daboll going to be there by the time he's actually able to run the offense?
I think so. I don't think he's getting fired this year. I don't think Shine's getting fired this year either. What I do see is people need to understand the Abdul Carter pick immediately. It's there to stop Saquon Barkley. The irony of it. It's there to stop Jaden Daniels. It's there to stop Jalen Hurts. Bro, that line's going to be crazy for them next year.
You got the best defensive player in
Brian
that
Burns,
Easy.
Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Sexy Dexy.
I like
That's your front four.
I like it. I like it.
That is your front four.
Offense needs to help them out, though.
I agree.
Offense needs to help them out. I like the Cam Scatterboo pick, too, though.
I'm a big Cam Scatterboo guy myself.
I like Scatterboo.
I said if the Steelers went in the second, in the third round when they pick Caleb Johnson, I'm okay with the Caleb Johnson pick. I think Caleb Johnson plays a lot quicker than what people are looking at. Like, if you go watch his actual game highlights, don't look at them stupid combine numbers, and you'll see what I mean by that. I told myself, I said, if Caleb Johnson's not there in the third round, then you pick the next best available player.
Where's their linebackers, though, Oscar?
I said,
that's why they're only going to be a 6-win.
I said, okay, if you can get Cam later on in the draft, who's just as good. Cam Scatterboo's good. I'm
pick.
telling you, that boy is good.
Good pick.
I'm a Steelers fan. When they started telling me, like, when I read my Steeler beat writers, the Mark Cabolis, the Ray Filippatos, the Jerry Dulacs, I look at the guys they're talking about. What do? And Derek on Twitter, DB, great Steelers person. They give you names. I start watching their film, and I'm like, oh, shit, this dude's pretty damn good. Like, wow. Like, this is a guy you get later on. Like, he's like, how this Chiefs got Pacheco in the 7th round, and look what he's done. That's the type of player I think Cam can be. I really do.
And don't be quick to just give up on Tyrone Tracy. Like, yes, it's going to cut into his production,
Doesn't
but
matter.
this has the potential to be a fun two-headed monster.
It'll be better than
for their running back room.
Singletary
still got some juice. It's not the exact ideal selection, but for Tyrone Tracy, a guy that you're paying peanuts right now anyway, you don't have to worry about moving him anywhere. Like, you can utilize Tracy, you can utilize Cam Scatterboo, and the Giants offense needs to give some run support to what is looking like the potential for a top 10 defense on the other side. Like, you don't want to have a top 10 defense and not be winning football games, but they're, it feels like they're one step closer. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Because like you said, Russ is going to throw that moon ball. And, for everybody who saw what Malik Neighbors could do with, the Tim Boyles of the world, that's got to make you a little bit excited.
What am I looking
at? Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I like the Omarion Hampton pick.
Remember, they got the guy from Miami, too, Javon Holland, right?
Yeah, they got Holland, too, on that defense.
That defense is going to be a lot better than what it was last year.
Giants defense, I think the Giants are still going to be a losing team. I just think that their defense is going to be better. So it's just a matter of how many more wins can they get. I think the Giants are going
to be a 7-win team next year.
They need to just, if they can score runs, score touchdowns, I should say. Just get some run support to the defense.
I think they're going to be a 7-win team next year.
I'll say 6.
And on top of that, you finish in last place, you get a last place schedule. Russell Wilson's good enough to beat known losers on the other side.
Yeah, I guess.
And then this season, with the whole NFC East, you don't know what you're getting with Dallas. You don't know what you're getting. I know we got all this high praise for Washington, but now it's the second year. There's a whole year of film on Jaden Daniels. Is he going to continue to progress, or he's going to regress? Because we were all hyped with, not you, because, you're an AFC South guy, but a lot also saying C.J. Stroud to the moon, and C.J. Stroud had an average year last year. Let's call a spade a spade.
If it's C.J. Stroud to the moon, then guess what? Katy Perry went to the moon too. Okay, that's how long that trip lasted. There's no C.J. Stroud to the moon. That C.J. Stroud is just a regular motherfucker. All right, I'm sorry to say it like that, but at the end of the day, C.J. Stroud is just a regular guy, and he got exposed this year. All right, so Sorry, Mike. I know that's your boy, but hey,
Stroud 9.
you're good. You're good. I know that's your boy. That's your beloved CJ Stroud. But like you said, once the tape comes out, it's just a matter of can you build upon the success of 1 year, or are you simply a Milli Vanilli one-hit
And
wonder?
I get it. They made a lot of really good moves. The Deebo Samuel move. That's a huge move to pair with Scary Terry. You got Zach Ertz coming back for another year. I'm not saying they're going to suck. What I'm saying is he going to have the sophomore slump?
What you're saying is the Commanders are going to be one of those teams that we set expectations on now this year.
Remember what we did to the Cleveland Browns in Baker's rookie year?
Meet those expectations.
There's expectation now. There was not a single expectation last year for the Washington Commanders.
No.
There wasn't a single expectation.
You know who told you guys they were going to be a dark horse?
He did.
Me. I told you guys back in August last year that the Washington Commandos were going to make some noise this year. And what did I get for it?
Pay-per-views were on a Monday.
You know what the crazy thing is? The people who agreed with me, of all people, were the Dallas Cowboy fans. I never even imagined in my wildest dreams it would have been them saying, yeah, I agree. I was looking at, and I had to take my glasses off, rub my eyes. And instead of them being with their typical we them boys, they were like, nah, you're right. I was like, what?
Look at the United States champion right there.
That means you saw what I saw in this Commanders team as far as what they did organizationally. They got all the cancers out of there. They took Quinn away from the Dallas Cowboys, and look at what happened to the Cowboys defense when you took Quinn out of the occasion. And all of a sudden, Washington can play defense now? That's a coincidence, right? So not only do you have a Washington Commanders team that is putting up 40 points in a game, but you've got a defense who's going out there with a 2-touchdown lead and is not afraid to take some chances out there. When you're getting your ass beat, you're playing tight. You're playing scared. You know what I mean? Like, you're already down, bro. Like,
I get it.
It gets bad.
I'm not arguing with you on that.
You're playing downhill. This team, it's oozing confidence. They're instilling confidence into their rookie quarterback. And now it's a matter of...
And I understand, like, when we do our playoff predictions in August, nobody's won the East back-to-back years since 2004.
I know who I picked to win the NFC. I'm telling you who I picked as my dark horse, bro. I know you're just look at the context of what I'm saying. I told y'all that the Washington Commanders were going to be something, and a lot of you disagreed with me. I'm just here to remind you that I was right. I was wrong about the Cowboys winning the division. I'll take that L, but I'm not going to take the L on the Commanders because I saw it happen before it actually happened. So it's okay to give me some flowers too if you got them. It's all right. It's okay.
Look at his name.
I give the Celtics love a lot.
His name's
it's all right.
Italian Stallion.
It's just a matter of, can the Washington Commanders get back to where they were? Can they get back to the NFC title game? I don't know about that. That's a lot. That's a lot to be able to do. Like, if you can get back to the NFC title game, then we're having a different conversation about this football team.
Little Jimmy.
Drewski's got something to say on the subject. I'm cool with it because they definitely dog walked the Commanders when it mattered. So, I'm all right with that.
Listen, I could see them taking a step back. So, regardless, I thought the Giants had a good draft. I really did.
Good job.
No Giants slander here. The Cowboys,
Not
on
today.
the other hand, you read that the Cowboys wanted to pick Tet. They thought Tet was going to fall to them, so they don't make a move. But they still picked a lineman, which you need to protect. It all starts up front. Both sides of the football.
One trick pony team. That
their
was a good
offense-
season. Won't happen again. I mean,
You're welcome, Chris. And I mean that sincerely. I thought you guys had a really good draft. I talked to
Yeah.
Alex about it. I thought you guys did good.
Bro, I love Abdul Carter.
I thought the Eagles had another good draft.
I love Abdul Carter.
Unlike Mel Kiper, I'm going to give credit to other teams that had good drafts because he wasn't giving credit to any teams because none of them picked
He
Shedeur
was mad as
Sanders.
hell, dog. He was like, the NFL's been getting the quarterback position wrong for 50 years.
You know what? You're lucky I wasn't on air because
Calm down.
you
Just
see-
because your stupid little mock draft
you
got
saw
ruined
Reese
in the
Davis?
first 2 minutes.
Reese Davis was like, no, the NFL is going to be fine.
Yeah, the other dude told him, he was like, the draft is spoken. That's what he told him.
No, Reese Davis. I love Reese.
Mel Kiper was mad as hell,
Listen,
dog.
Mel Kiper is. If I was on that panel,
Kiper's a schmuck.
I would have looked at him knowing I'm probably going to lose my job because I'm about to like destroy Kiper on national TV because they love him.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, so what did you say about Trent Dilfer? What did you say about Matt Hasselbeck?
Yeah,
What did you say about Johnny Manziel? Oh wait,
Mitchell
I
Trubisky?
remember.
Mitchell Trubisky?
I remember
Over
when
everybody?
you said you were going to retire if Jimmy Clausen wasn't a quarterback still starting in 8 years later.
My man.
So
said,
if the NFL can't figure out the quarterback position, nor can you, my man, nor can you.
Mel Kiper's biggest crime.
In the words of the old GM of the Colts, who in the hell is Mel Kiper?
His biggest crime was having Mitch Trubisky over everybody in that draft.
Remember
class.
that? Bro, I remember he
Everybody,
shitted on the
dog.
Chiefs for picking Pat Mahomes. What a reach in the first round. Hey, what a reach, huh? 3 Super Bowls later.
5 appearances later.
Yeah. 3 out of 5, bro.
Because guess what? It doesn't matter that he got his ass beat twice. He won 3 already, dog. And Mitch Trubisky has not. Okay? So he was irate, though, dog. Like, he was big
crazy.
mad. He was big
Bro, you know what
mad,
pissed me off?
dog.
See, we didn't get to
He
notice
called
it.
out the league.
We didn't get to notice it because we were all there. We're enjoying. We're eating wings. We're drinking our beers. I'm drinking my strawberry lemonades that I had no clue were not free refills.
He got one of the fancy strawberry lemonades, folks. It wasn't just a strawberry lemonade. It was a strawberry lemonade that had an orange wedge in it. It had 2 cherries in it. He had the works, bro. He had the works. And I think the second one they brought him, there was no orange in it. But that first one, that shit looked good, bro. I was looking at it from a distance. I was like, damn, dog. Like, what you got, dog? Like, what's in there?
Anyway, we're not really paying attention
I
to
mean, I
it.
got a captain behind.
I didn't
mama.
realize it until me and my wife were talking the next day because I took off. She's like, yo, you know, they didn't even like when Cam got picked, like ESPN didn't show him on the screen or like it went straight to Shedeur Sanders.
Mad as hell.
Like, what?
Hating.
How do you not give this kid his time? Cam Ward was clear as
Yeah.
day better than him. Clear as day.
Out of the 2 of them, he's the one that's actually ready to start as a
Nick.
quarterback. Fuck them picks. Yeah, you're the Rams right now, bro. But yeah, they had the interaction between the 2 of them talking. And it's funny.
My wife showed me the video. She's like, look at this shit.
It was like, I play
He's like,
ball.
Yeah, he goes, don't you want to be in my rap dude? Nah,
I
bro.
play ball.
What's your hobbies?
You don't do anything
Football.
else? I play ball.
He said,
Like, just not.
What was he
time
said?
to fool around with you, bro.
he
I
said,
got time.
when people look up Cam Ward on Google, I want them to see American football player.
That interaction.
I'm not a
is
Titans
going
fan.
to go down.
I told Alex, when me and Alex talked about it on Monday, I said, yo, I got hype. I'm like, yo, I looked at Alex like, bro, I was ready to scream Tighten up. And I ain't even a Titans fan.
Dog, he's not here to play games. All right. So we need to do right by him. Because I am in no way, shape, or form saying that Sanders is going to be a failure. Sanders could potentially see the field this year.
That quarterback really
Like-
ain't that good.
Because we're both going into dysfunctional situations. Cam is going to Tennessee. Sanders is going to Cleveland. Look at the history.
Yeah,
there
but
between
Tennessee's
those 2.
been to the playoffs more consistently than Cleveland. I'd rather go
There's-
to Tennessee than Cleveland.
And we don't have 5 quarterbacks.
And I'm not saying that because you're a Titans fan. I'm saying that
you're
because
looking at it. You're
I've
looking at
consistently
everything. You're looking
seen
at
it.
everything.
Yeah.
You're looking at the body. You're looking at everything right now. You know what I mean? Like but at the end of the day,
Cleveland's got what now? 35 starting quarterbacks since they came back into the league?
Cam Ward's going to the Tennessee Titans to be the starter for the Tennessee Titans this next season, whatever that means for us, even if it means another bad year for us. Shedeur Sanders is going to the Cleveland Browns and has the potential to start this year, but is sitting behind, 3 to 4 to 5 guys, which could be a good thing for him or it could be a bad thing for him.
Right now, somebody on Twitter, I forget where I was reading, they said he should be just trying to focus on making third string.
He needs to focus on football, is what he needs to do. He needs to focus on football. Like, you are already
and then
like-
the report came out because it's like Alex has said to us, they did more homework on Shedeur Sanders than they did Jackson Dart and didn't pick Shedeur. So then the report came out from Tom McShay, who used to work
When
for
Shador
ESPN.
came into the
He
meetings,
asked him to he talked to him like, "Yo, run back that play I told you the last time we talked."
he
He was like, "What?" Like he didn't do it. He didn't remember it. He didn't. That just showed your
didn't study
maturity and
any of it.
preparation.
He's literally wearing headphones during the meetings.
Like, what is that? You don't do
know,
that. And I'm
This is
not
big, bro. Like these guys,
I'm not
guys.
telling you. I'm not saying don't be yourself, but there's a time and a place. When you go in for an interview, you are to be all business. Point blank.
Man, that was crazy. Paul, when the Saints did that, we all looked at each other. Like that was one of those moments in the draft on that night where we kind of all looked at each other like, yo, what is going on right now? And that's when it resonated in us where it's like, yeah,
Bro,
they're trying to teach him a lesson right now.
He was
trying to humble this
sandbagging interviews with teams so he didn't have to get drafted by them. You don't think these other GMs talk? You don't think these other GMs are like, yo, this dude.
Especially this time of year.
They're looking at
talking
him
more than
like,
ever.
bro, you're acting like your dad and you don't even have the body of work of your father.
That's it right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the quote of the night right there. The fact that your father was a larger-than-life superstar, but your father actually went out on that field and he did that shit on the field and then grew into he filled his own shoes. Your father could do whatever sport he wanted to do. You ain't him. You are his. You come from that, so you have that. You know what I mean? You have that larger-than-life persona about you. However, that shit could get destroyed very, very quickly going into, literally the dog pound. Mind the pun, but as far as the NFL goes, a lot of players get lost fast in this league. I think eventually he's gonna be good, but there's dog, you're literally coming out of the mud with this shit.
I looked at him as an average quarterback. I never thought there was nothing about him that wowed me above and beyond. There's nothing there that said he's going to be a superstar. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing the excuses about, the line in Colorado was terrible, this and that. The majority of offensive lines in college that aren't Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State aren't good. That's just the truth.
The Saints taking Show, who I don't know who that is. I saw his tape from the combine. So as much stock as people put in the combine, clearly they don't put enough stock in it because he threw one of the worst passes I ever saw. He got drafted.
Tyler Shaw, yeah.
Yeah, that's the video where the dog is going crazy in the video and everybody's petting the dog like the dog got drafted. That's the Saints doing that.
And a lot of people were all these
and bringing him into the fold.
These losing franchises as well, these coaches that are on bubbles are also afraid to bring him in because then they got to worry about what his dad says. You got to worry about his dad and what his dad wants. And
I think the Saints should have
taken
people
want to keep
Shedeur
comparing
Sanders.
this to the Eli Manning situation. Eli was light years better than Shedeur in college. Light years. And the only thing they said, they didn't want him playing for San Diego. They didn't say any other team's name. They said San Diego. And guess what? Once Eli was drafted, the Manning family never, ever, ever interfered with the Giants at all. Did they? I don't remember. Who's telling me that Deion's going to do the same? He's not. He's going to throw his wisecracks out every once in a while. He's probably going to say things. Like what he said, I'm going to be with Shedeur when he meets with Cleveland. What? Go recruit your team and make them better.
Imagine that.
Go make Colorado a 10-win team, please.
So they're trying to get themselves out of the Deshaun Watson contract, right?
They are.
And you also have Two Gloves out there, your boy. You got Kenny Two Gloves, Joe Flacco, who's going to be the starter week 1. Who else do they have out there?
I don't know if Flacco's going to be week 1.
I
also don't think Kenny. I don't know.
Don't say Kenny. Cut me a break. Cut me a break. Kenny Pickett is not going to be the starting quarterback.
Kenny Pickett can't beat out Joe Flacco
Oscar,
and Shedeur Sanders. Kenny Pickett should just retire from football.
All you have to do is pull up the numbers from the last 2 years for Joe Flacco and the last 2 years for Two Gloves. It's not even close.
It's not.
Flacco had
a lot of Flacco's numbers are good from the previous year, not from last year.
Kenny Pickett has never done anything. Let's be real. Joe Flacco at the end of the line of his career is still more valuable than a 2 gloves is right now.
I don't know who's going to win it. I don't. Because of the Flacco from the Colts plays. Ugh.
Any version of 2 gloves is ugh. We watched that together. I saw it live. It wasn't pretty. We lost that game because Levis couldn't contain himself with the freaking picks. That's why we lost that game. That was disgusting. But anyway, Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco's going to be the starter week 1. Eventually, it's going to end up being Shedeur Sanders. Oh, that's the other quarterback, Dylan Gabriel.
What if Dylan Gabriel beats them all out?
Well, then, typical Cleveland. We're just going to see all those quarterbacks sitting together down the line.
Or what if Watson's just doing what Aaron Rodgers has done with the tee and, gone into the cave and trying to get that Achilles tendon right?
They are in a mess. I literally am looking at them and saying to themselves, like, yo, they're trying to get out of that contract. There's no other explanation or reasoning behind anything that you're doing.
I don't think the Steelers are going to be good this year, but I still think the Browns are finishing in last place.
And even with all that silliness, they still draft a dog in Quinshon Judkins, who I think is going to thrive in that system. Judkins is going to put up big numbers. They found their new Chubb, bro. They found their new, even through all this stupid shit that they've done, they managed to do one thing right.
They got Quinshon Judkins.
And they got themselves a dog in Quinshon Judkins who went to a place that if we know they're going to do anything right, they're going to run the football
Listen,
right.
Paul, listen. But that was the right move, Paul, for the Cowboys. Whether anybody wants to admit that or not, that was the right move. Plain and simple. The only way you win games in the NFL is if you have an offensive line and a defensive line.
Cowboys fans weren't even hyped for the draft this year.
They weren't. But I tell you,
the
that
Dallas,
lineman they picked will end up being a Pro Bowl lineman.
The Dallas Cowboys have managed to do something that nobody could do in the years in history.
They tried to do something big in the draft, Cowboys fans. They did try to do something big.
The Cowboys have
kept calling Omar Khan, and they kept asking Omar Khan, we want 14. We want 14. Omar Khan probably told them, we want a second-round pick for him. That's too steep. Well, you're not getting them. All the Cowboys had to do was give the Steelers a second-round pick, and George Pickens would be a wide receiver for them today.
The Dallas Cowboys.
That's the God's honest truth.
The Dallas Cowboys have done what the New York Jets have done to their fan base, what a lot of teams in different leagues have done to their fan base. They have taken the love and the joy of the game away from the fan base because Cowboys fans don't even gloat about the Cowboys anymore. Like all that stereotype that we have of the Cowboys of every September, they're saying this is our year, we them boys. They don't do that anymore. They weren't doing that last year, bro. They were talking with me about how the Commanders are going to be a force. Like we're going into a different genre.
I will say
in a different era of the National Football League.
Like I told Alex, I'm pretty sure Amari Cooper is going to resign with them before training camp. So Cooper at this stage in his career is not a bad player to be wide receiver 2, because we all know who wide receiver 1 is. It's CeeDee Lamb. Plain and simple.
The Cowboys don't have a wide receiver 2.
Well, it's going to be Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to be a Cowboy before training camp starts.
As of right now, the Cowboys wide receiver 2 is Brandon Cooks.
And it won't be.
But it is right now.
No, he's not there no more.
Oh, he's a free agent. The Cowboys don't have a running back, okay? The Cowboys don't have a wide receiver 2. They don't have a good defense anymore. You got Dak Prescott, and you got CeeDee Lamb, and you got Ferguson. Ferguson's awesome. But he ain't, I mean, come on. That's where I can see where Paul's coming from.
Oh, they're also interested in Keenan Allen.
Cooks is on the Saints. I'm sorry. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So the Cowboys are interested in Amari Cooper, and they're interested in Keenan Allen.
So your big move is going to be either Cooper or Keenan Allen?
And listen, I'm going to put money
on it.
Cowboys
wide receiver 2 is Jason Tolbert. Look at that.
I tell you this right now. I think Javonte Williams might have a sneaky good year.
And the running back 1 is Javonte Williams.
I ain't giving up on that guy. I'm not giving up on Javonte Williams. And that might be because he's still on my fantasy team, but that's okay.
Bro. They really didn't get themselves a running back, did they?
Now it's going to be Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Deuce Vaughn.
So, for any of us who think that the Washington Commanders are going to regress, it's not going to be because the Cowboys are going to be any better. because the Cowboys are looking like the fourth best team in this division as of right now. As of right now, that could change. But they haven't done anything to make me feel like they're doing anything special or important.
Nah.
What are they going to figure it out on defense all of a sudden? Do you know how many rushing yards they allowed last year? More than most teams. Teams were running on these guys all day long.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They have no identity. They have no reason behind what they do. They have no method. They have no purpose. The Dallas Cowboys are more lost than I could ever remember them being lost. Ever.
It kind of makes you think maybe they shouldn't have re-signed Dak. And it's not saying Dak's a bad quarterback. It's maybe you
destroyed him.
Maybe you should have let him walk, bro.
They're going to be bad, bro. They're looking like fourth place in the NFC East, bro. Because I like what the Giants did way more than I like what the Cowboys did. I like the Commanders. I like what the Eagles did. Like,
the Eagles ain't going nowhere. The only thing, there's going to be some growing pains in that first month and a half of the season for that secondary. It's going to be a very young secondary.
Cowboys and the Giants.
A lot of their veteran leadership is gone. I do think the Eagles secondary is going to be a weak spot for maybe the first month and a half. But it's not going to be enough where they're not going to be the division winner.
Even if he posed the question, like, let's
the
say,
Eagles
okay,
are still going to win 12, 13 games this year.
Like, okay, Cowboys, you're trying to tank, right? Like, what are you even tanking for? For what? For who? You paid your quarterback. Well, you're not tanking for a quarterback. What are you tanking for?
Hold on. Let me go to.
We talked about this being the running back class of all running back classes as far as drafts. And they didn't go out there and get one. They didn't get Travion Henderson. He's in New England. They didn't get Hampton. He's with the Chargers. They didn't get Judkins. He's with the Browns. They didn't get Cam Scatterboo. He's with the Giants. They didn't get any of those kids. All dogs. All dogs, bro. Like, there's no real wrong answer out of any of those names that I just said. They're all good in their own different ways, and they're all going to contribute a lot to the teams that they went to. And to a team like the Cowboys.
They can't cut them next year either.
Who, Dak?
Yeah.
Dak ain't going nowhere, dog.
Oh.
Dak isn't going anywhere.
Oh.
This isn't just going to be a one-year thing, guys. This is going to drag out.
Hold on. They can trade him next year.
Jaden Blue, fastest running back in the draft.
If they trade Dak Prescott after June 1st of 2026, they'll have a $34 million dead money hit, but $40 million saved. Yeah.
Okay. So they save money, and
if they were to have a losing season next year,
right? Where does this end? That's my question. Where does this end?
The crazy part is Dallas has $37 million in cap space.
That's cool. You're not winning the division. You just watched the Washington and Philly play each other in the NFC title game. Your division rivals headlining the biggest game on the NFC side. So what are you doing to improve and get yourself into the mix? Is the guy that Noli just mentioned, is he going to be the starting running back?
The fifth-round running back?
Or is it Javonte? Bum knees. I don't know. 6 or 7 is looking like the magic number for them too, man. That's all I'm saying.
Where Cam Scatterbo got drafted in the 4th round.
I don't know. They could have taken a flyer on one of these guys. Because this was a special draft class for the running back position.
Yeah.
And I get that they drafted Jaden Blue, but the guys that I mentioned are all better than Jaden Blue. We'll see. Maybe he's a good fit for them. I can't figure that puzzle out, man. I can't figure that out. I like what the Chicago Bears did more than I like what the Cowboys did.
Jeez, the Bears.
I like what they did.
Offensive weapons all day.
You know,
DJ Moore,
they got
Odunze,
Loveland.
Luther Borden.
They got Borden.
Colston Love.
And there's the rumor mill is buzzing about a potential DJ Moore trade. That might happen. There's potential for DJ Moore to get traded. Look out for that. If this is the first time hearing it right now, remember where you heard it first if it actually does happen. If it doesn't happen, then my leads are just as good as the leads for the GM out in NY. But nonetheless, that's what's being said out there. So if that were to happen, then the Luther Burden pick might make even more sense. And when you look at what they're trying to do out in Chicago with Ben Johnson going out there, Burden is like the perfect mold of a player for more or less what Johnson's trying to do out there. That's why a lot of us who have Rome Odunze are a little bit nervous right now. Not going to win piecing the team together with free agents for the Bears.
Can't be a make or break year for a second year quarterback.
All the additions to the offense.
We'll put too much pressure on these kids, man.
It's a make or break year.
It's only his second year as a quarterback.
The front office, not for Caleb yet.
It's for Ryan Poles.
Yeah, it's a make or break year for the people drafting him, not the actual draftee, I would say. Because what they did was double down on offense this year and, stubbornly double down, get themselves another wide receiver, get themselves a defense. It's looking like DeAndre Swift is the unquestionable RB1 and Roschon Johnson is going to be the unquestionable RB2 out there because they also didn't bother with any running backs. And that was one of the places that was circled on people's lists as far as
Mitch
Ashton
Trubisky
Genty.
was never good, Paul. Nobody ever thought Mitchell Trubisky was ever good.
Mel Kiper did. Mel Kiper had him going number one over everybody. But, yeah, I like what they're doing out there. And to be quite honest, I've said it already before. Caleb Williams' numbers would look a lot better if he didn't, A, hold on to the ball as long as he did, and 2, wasn't overthrowing Keenan Allen and DJ Moore as much as he had
last year. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. And I'm not making excuses. It's just literally I'm watching Bears games and seeing with my own eyes.
The coaching staff's the reason why they lost to the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day.
Yep.
Call a damn timeout.
Yes.
They call the timeout.
Crazy work.
There's a very good chance they win that game. Or at least go to overtime, which I would have loved. Regardless, I think with Ben Johnson there, the Lions are going to be way better. And Ben Johnson is going to find ways to utilize all those players.
It's going to be interesting seeing what he does out there, man. The Burden pick worried me at first because I'm heavy on the Bears offense. So I'm looking at it like, damn, is this like a too many mouths to feed situation? So it's definitely one of those things that makes you scratch your head as far as the thought process. But then it became very simple. They're just doubling down. They're doubling down on Caleb Williams. They're doubling down on that offense. And they're giving Ben Johnson each and every possible tool they can think of for him to be able to replicate the success that he had in Detroit, just a couple of yards away within their own division.
I think the Bears are going to be the most improved team this year.
I
think the Bears are going to fight for that. I think the Bears might even get that 7th wild card.
I don't think they win the division.
3 teams are coming out of the NFC North again.
I don't think they win the division.
Nope.
But 7 seed is a fair place to put a team that you just can't figure out yet. That's a good place to put them.
I think
because we hold our 5 seeds. A 5 seed is a good team that could win the division.
NFC North goes like this: Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. There's too much of an unknown with J.J. McCarthy for me to put them ahead of the Bears. And the Packers are a team that's going to be consistently there. They were a good football team last year.
Lions going to have to go out there and win the division again.
However, that's the Lions division. Regardless what anybody wants to say. That unless Jared Goff gets hurt, that is the Lions division. Don't care what anyone says. Not going to change my mind.
Division games are tricky, man.
The Lions are going to win another 12 games this year, maybe 13.
You guys picking them to go to the Super Bowl again like you do every year?
I don't know if I'm going to
Maybe
do that
you'll get
this
it
year.
right this time.
Because I can see Philly going back.
Oh, man. Jets QB not even close. Who the hell is going to be the Jets? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Justin Fields, my boy. My boy Justin Fields. How could I forget about Justin? He's going to be the starting quarterback.
I'm hating the Jets because there's no guarantee I'm going to be
I
the
hope they do.
quarterback.
I hope they do right by him.
The Steelers were going to make you the starter, buddy.
He didn't know that, though.
They were going to.
You guys should have. You know what you should have done? You should have confirmed it to him.
They did. They offered him starter money for this first year. The problem was he wanted a commitment from after this year, but Pittsburgh's always been eyeing 2026 as the year of the draft their next quarterback.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there for that. Yeah, that's it.
You're the Jets. You're going to be a last place team. So
now you got Mason Rudolph.
You got a year winning in your system, Justin. Next year, enjoy your 5 wins.
I'd rather have Justin Fields than Mason Rudolph right now. Personally, just my opinion. Look, and listen, Mason, I'm sorry. I appreciate you. You were a Titan last year, and we had a hell of a ride. What happened out there in Tennessee is not your fault.
I could put money on the line right now.
It's not your fault.
I'll put money on the line right now. The Steelers will still have a better record than the Jets.
How much money are you going to put on that?
Whatever anybody wants. That's how confident I am.
Okay. We'll circle back to that.
I'll put any amount of money. The Jets are not going to have more wins than the Steelers.
I don't know, man. That's a good comparison, though. That's a good one right there.
The Jets are another 5. Teams. They're gonna go through all this change just to have 5 more wins next year.
Those are 2 more teams that we can look at as far as kind of being in a similar place. And only one of them, I think, is going to succeed. One will perish. There can only be one.
Listen, we're going to be 9-8. We'll get to the playoffs. Lose in the first round. Get blown out again. And they'll say Mike has done a phenomenal job and he's coming back for another year.
So you're going to win 9, and you're going to go 9.
We're going to 9-8, lose another playoff game.
Okay. All right. The prodigal son returns to
sad
Pittsburgh.
Part is it ain't even going to be Mason Rudolph that's the quarterback. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
We'll see, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you are getting your early 2025 NFL predictions on tonight's podcast. This is what happens. This is what it evolves into sometimes when we have these discussions. I never bet on the Jets, even as a fan of them. Yeah, me neither. I don't want to bet on either team because I don't care who wins more games, to be completely honest with you. I think it's an ugly bet.
However,
but it's still an interesting conversation to have.
I'm crazy to tell you that if Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback, maybe they win 10 games because they just won 10 games with a combination of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
He's really stretching this shit out with you guys, huh? He's like, what's he waiting for?
Well, the rumor is
SummerSlam.
He told
say that SummerSlam.
Supposedly he told the owner he's coming.
What, to the Steelers?
Yeah. He told him that if I'm playing this year, it's for you guys. That he's dealing with some personal matters.
True. Heard that. And you think he's still contemplating retirement as one of his main options too, though, right?
Then I'm crazy enough to stay. Let Will Howard start.
Who's that?
The rookie they picked in the 5th round.
Will Howard,
Ohio State quarterback.
That's like the name that Noli just dropped. Jaden Blue. Who the fuck are these people?
I watched.
He got drafted before Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think, or he got, or it was a couple picks after.
What did we just watch? That was crazy. That was crazy, bro. I think if Aaron Rodgers is winning the Pittsburgh Steelers 10 to 11 games, this guy right here might change his tune on Rodgers, bro. He might. It's not going to be the same.
You know how I'm going to feel?
When he talks about him, it's going to be different.
I was telling the other day, I said if the Steelers magically won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, I would feel like I felt the same day Steve Austin turned heel at WrestleMania 17. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he's not capable of doing that, but he's capable of giving you guys your first playoff win in a while.
And I would sit there looking, and you would be in this room while I'm like this.
I can see that.
You'll be like, dog, get happy. I'll be like,
your first playoff win since Big Ben.
And you'll see me
was
like
none
this.
other than Aaron Rodgers.
And I would just
that you hated, but you will be advancing.
I would do the Sid Justice pose. That the picture I send you.
Yeah, if we're watching the Steelers with him, with Aaron Rodgers as a starter, he's going to try not to be happy when they do the right things on offense. He's going to praise the defense all the way, but when the offense is on, he's going to try to just downplay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
All we're doing is running the ball.
Greatest thrower of the football, right? And on top of that, all signs point to him. He trained with DK Metcalf.
Steelers are going to have you working overtime this year.
He trained Caleb. He was training with Caleb Johnson, the running back they picked. All the signs are pointing to that. Oh,
yeah,
that'll put some butts in the seats.
And we still have the entire summer of training camp.
Can you wait that first game where he throws like a crucial pick and it's because Pickens ran the wrong route and then Pickens just crashes out and then DK's trying to calm him down and then he pushes DK and then DK just Hulk smash.
DK starts crashing out.
Oh,
and then Aaron Rodgers has to leave.
This is going to be great for all the wrong reasons.
The defensive side of the football is like, what the fuck is going on out there? What's wrong with these guys? What have we done? And Mason Rudolph is just happy to be home. Arthur Smith is going to grow out his mustache.
Arthur gets fired.
Yeah.
Tomlin gets fired. If this goes bad, like bad, I can't see Tomlin surviving.
Like I just said it about the G-Men. I said it about the Cowboys. There's a scenario where the Steelers could potentially be a 6-win team next year too.
I'd be hyped.
Like there's a chance that happens.
It's going to be bittersweet.
Like
it's going to be bitter me watching this team lose, but it's going to be sweet knowing like I'm getting a top 5.
Shit is tough. For the first time in a long time, you'd be at the top of the draft going into next year, and that could be the change that you've been talking about as far as this team needing for so long. Instead of just running out the same routine of the regular season good and first round exit for dating back to 2016. You got to have that complete collapse. You're holding on by a thread.
Win in the middle, finish in the middle, draft in the middle.
Yeah. And you're doomed to repeat that cycle until something changes. Maybe the change is this year, Mason Rudolph as a starter. I like the kid you guys picked up at the running back position. I like what you guys did.
Junkyard Dog was in the NWA in '88. Did not know that.
Yeah. This is when he was, he was in bad. I watched the thing on him. He was doing a bunch of drugs and everything.
Yeah.
Like he, after he left WWF, I watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode of him.
Yo.
So his
people
story
don't realize
was pretty crazy.
He was so over in the WWF. Like nobody was getting the Hogan push, but he was so popular. Like he was headlining his own show, like the B Show.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
well,
gross.
We have our rookie draft on Sunday. And now this is the cool part of the year where you're watching people take each other's jobs and, as far as the depth chart goes, and you see the value of what you have and what your team has and who's actually doing what.
Okay. Rockets putting it on the Golden State Warriors with 5.5 minutes left, 112-197.
Yeah, the lead was a lot bigger before it shrunk. So I'm definitely worried about them going back to Golden State.
Schwarber for back-to-back home run. Was he any of your anytime today?
No, I didn't take Schwarber straight up today. I took Bryce Harper like a fucking idiot.
Even JT hit a smash. Even Max Kepler hit a home run.
Yeah. I went with Yo,
as bad as the Phillies are, they're still 17-13. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If they could just get this shit, I'm actually, as a Phillies fan, I'm happy they suck. So like they're hot and cold right now because this is the Phillies team I'm used to. Last year I wasn't used to this Phillies team that was the best in the league in the first half of the year. Then they took that trip to London and were never the same again. The Phillies need to be that team that's mid the first half and just boom, balls to the wall second half.
The problem with the Philadelphia Phillies is no matter what anybody does, their bullpen is complete dog shit. They got the worst bullpen in the world right now. Whether it's Romano, whether it's Kerkering, if it's not Alvarado out there trying to close every night,
6.55 ERA. Banks 3.38.
those guys are blowing leads like there's nothing new. Kerkering is the absolute worst. That's going to be the Phillies' problem for the entirety of the season. Mark my words on that one. You can take that to the bank, in fact.
Bryce Harper is hitting 234, ladies and gentlemen. I know they've blown a lot of leads. They should have at least 4 more wins from what the bullpen has done to them. That I won't disagree with anybody on. What else? Let's take a look at the rest of the scoreboard. We all know right now, later tonight at 10 o'clock, Timberwolves take on the Lakers. They're trying to end that series. The Timberwolves are up 3-1. I mean, there wasn't much of a discrepancy between the Timberwolves and the Lakers. You know, Minnesota's 49-33, and the Lakers were 50-32. So it's not like, oh my goodness, who's going to win? Like, I'm not surprised the Timberwolves are going to win this series, but I'm shocked at the manner they're doing it. In baseball, you got the Red Sox and Blue Jays tied up at 6. Diamondbacks up 2-1 against the Mets, top of the 9th, with men on 2nd and 3rd, no outs. Brewers and the White Sox are tied 3-3. Athletics and Rangers, bottom of the 6th, 1-1. Cardinals 6-0 in game 1 of the doubleheader today. Tigers won 7-4 over the Astros. The Rockies, the worst team in all of baseball, the Colorado Rockies beat the Atlanta Braves 2-1. The Dodgers whooped the Marlins 12-7. Mariners beat the Angels 9-3. Padres beat the Giants 5-3. The Cleveland Indians, I'm sorry, I'm not calling them Guardians. The Cleveland Indians won 4-2. And the Orioles won today.
Yeah, they beat us. They took the series 5-4.
Pirates 4-3 over the Cubs. Cardinals 9-1 in game 2. And the Royals 3, Rays nothing. Meanwhile, in the NHL playoffs, you got the Capitals beating the Canadiens right now with 25 seconds left in the third period, 3-1. Washington leads the set 3-1. So with this victory today, Washington is going to the next round. The Panthers are beating the Lightning 4-3. Right now, Florida also leads that series 3-1. There's 15 minutes left in the third period. So if the Lightning don't score another goal, they're going home. Well, they're already home, but they're going to stay home. So that's your sports update today, as of 9:50 this evening.
And then we've got still to come. You've got the Lakers versus the Timberwolves,
which I just touched upon about. There's not much of a discrepancy with the two.
Slate.
The Lakers had one more win than the Timberwolves, so it's not like the Lakers were light years ahead of better than the Timberwolves. They're practically the same team. But the difference is Anthony Edwards said, I'm going to be physical as hell with you. Yeah. And the whole time he's just like this. You see LeBron looking at the official. Like, bro, be physical back.
And you know what? Also, this is where you look at Julius Randle, and it's like, because of how the refs are allowing them to play and how it's becoming more of a physical game now that we're in the playoffs and they're choking on the whistle, you appreciate what Julius Randle brings to the table compared to, Karl Anthony Towns in that system. You know what I mean? Because of what he can do, like with his physicality and the fact that, the Los Angeles Lakers don't actually have like a big now. Like a lot of the success that the Los Angeles Lakers experienced the last few years, like, yes, LeBron is a part of that, but Anthony Davis was a part of that too. Like, he would be the scapegoat for a lot of things when they didn't go right, and he would have some dud games, but then he would have those games where he'd explode for like 30 and 20, and the Lakers would win, because everything else falls into place. And when the game plan is built around Anthony Davis on those good nights, they're a hard basketball team to beat. But now you take a LeBron, Luka-centric basketball team, and you put them in a situation with a Minnesota Timberwolves team that they've taken their losses the last couple of years. This core group has been together for a bit now. They added Julius Randle to what they already had going on out there. Anthony Edwards growing into his own star. And this Lakers team is going up against a Timberwolves team that knows how to play together in these situations and is battle tested when it comes to the postseason. Like the Timberwolves aren't some chump rookies that are going to be starstruck by the fact that they have to play the Lakers. If anything, that kind of just opened up a can of worms because Anthony Edwards right now is just seeing red and is going to town on these guys in each and every game. And they have yet to have a solution or a response for that type of chaos that he brings to the equation. So tonight's very pivotal for them. They have to play with heart if they want to stay alive. Otherwise, the Lakers are going home too. You know, it's going to be an early exit for them. But if they do go home, let's not discredit the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves, this is a good step for them moving forward and them being able to sort of get over the hump and show like we've been in the West for a couple of years now. We can give OKC some problems. You know what I mean? If that's the matter, like we can give anybody problems right now. We can go toe to toe with anybody out in the West. Let's not forget Timberwolves did eliminate the Nuggets last year in the postseason. That happened. So like, you know, they got what it takes now. Like they're a grown, mature team, and they could potentially be giving the Lakers a gentleman's sweep after tonight.
Yeah.
Ron Strass isn't even the best small forward to ever play. He's not the GOAT of anything except crying like a schoolgirl with scraped knees. We all know how I feel about that guy already.
Well, I will say this. I don't know why JJ Redick had all of them playing the entire second half the other day.
Because he didn't know what else to do.
Crazy.
He didn't know what else to do with him.
Crazy.
You know?
That was a rookie head coach mistake. A guy who's never coached at any level. Like, dude, you got a 40-year-old small forward. Like, he needs to sit down. We're gonna find out.
They had nobody else.
The Lakers win today.
They have nobody else, bro. They have nobody else. Who else is going to come in?
If the Lakers can win today, maybe they stretch this series out. Maybe. But I don't see it. I see the Timberwolves just going in there playing bully ball and going to the next round.
Just going for the kill because that's how they've looked up until this point.
Where the Rockets coming back and beating what makes it 3-3 now or 3-2?
3-2, but it's going back to Golden State. And there's a good chance that it all ends there because of the fact that we haven't been consistent.
It's different for you guys. You're a young team. You're there.
They're starstruck.
This is the Golden State Warriors just beating up on a young, inexperienced playoff team that come next year won't happen because this team will have the experience that they needed.
And Golden State knows how to play playoff format basketball. Same for the Timberwolves. Like they got the experience.
You already seen the Rockets come out and say Amon is not for sale. Don't ask for him.
He's special.
Don't call for him.
He's special.
It's not happening.
He's a special player.
Like the Golden State Warriors, they're an older team, and if they're gonna do something, it needs to happen this year. If they're gonna win a championship, it has to happen this year because I don't think they're going to be any good next year.
I think for my beloved...
you're going to have a lot of, Butler's getting older. Curry's getting older.
They're a pretty old team.
They're
a pretty old team.
How long do you think you're going to do
I think for my Rockets, this just shows that you cannot build this team around Jalen Green. He can be a good part of what we've got going on, but you're better off trying to build around Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, and work everything around those guys. Because to me, those guys look like our best players. Jalen Green some nights can be our best player, but he can't be our best player all the time. And I feel as though with Alperen, when he's healthy, and Amen Thompson, with what I've seen from him this year, I love him and his brother's game. Amen and Ausar Thompson, bro, they're both just doing great things for the Detroit Pistons and the Houston Rockets. Two teams that have been playoff starved for a couple of years. And are finally they got playoff teams. You know, they got teams that are competing in the mix and making shit happen. And
a fan was carted off after falling from the 21-foot Clemente wall at PNC Park
today. Jesus, out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh, But yeah, it sucks being a longtime Rockets fan because it's looking like we're about to get eliminated by the team that has owned us, for such a long time. To rebuild and to get back here and to
it's
face the same
119,
team and not be
103.
able to get past them is a frustrating thing. However, it's also one of those things where you say to yourself, this team hasn't been in the playoffs since Harden. They're a little bit starstruck right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's situations where they didn't show consistency, but they're still a young core unit of drafted players that is going to be back next year.
Seguin's one rebound and 1 assist away from a triple-double.
Yeah, they went out there and tried to beat up Golden State early. But, again, we're back in Houston tonight. You're in front of the home crowd. Like, that plays a part in coming out of the gate hot, having the crowd cheering for you. Like, what type of energy are you going to bring back to Golden State for Game 6?
Thompson, 23. Brooks, 24. Van Vliet, 26.
Guys came to play tonight. And I, as a fan, I appreciate it because we live to fight another day.
Only has 13 points. He's 3-9 from the 3-point.
He had a bad game 2, I believe, also. He had a bad game 2. But other than that,
Jimmy Butler got 8 points. 2 for 10 from field goals, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line.
So our defensive prowess.
Damn, look at this. 117. That's Draymond Green's stat line.
Typical. But come on, guys. He's old, bro. Like, he's freaking tired. Like, this guy's, the Golden State Warriors have 6 finals appearances. Yeah, but he uses that. That's how he does, That's his shtick. That's what he has to do to make up for what he can't do anymore. I
didn't see this interview with JJ Redick getting mad about the reporter questioning his substitutions. It's a legit question. Why didn't you do it, bud?
Clickbait, as my boy John Cena would say. That's right. I call him my boy now. Things have changed, dog. Things have changed. Hey, just like you're going to be buddy-buddy with Aaron Rodgers, I'm perfectly okay with John Cena, bro. I'm perfectly okay with him cutting a promo on me as a fan because I'm cool with it, bro. It's all right. I don't care that The Rock screwed up the entire thing. Just,
ruined the entire... His interview with Pat McAfee was wild, dog.
What the hell was that?
The final boss wasn't needed. What? You were the catalyst of the storyline. What are you talking about? You're not needed.
I got the call that the ticket sales were low. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you,
doing this?
I think Ari Emanuel called Rock up, said, I need you to go on. And I also think it's Rock's ego, too, knowing his movie's coming out soon. The biography on Mark Kerr, where it was, let me get out in front of this. Try to let them know, hey, try to smooth this over so fans won't be mad at me. All you did was make it worse. Fans came out afterwards like, oh, so you don't give a shit about us. So basically one fan said, listen, guys, if his next movie bombs, he'll definitely wrestle next year.
He's a very smart man, and he never forgot that the fans took over when he wanted to headline with Roman Reigns. He never let that go, bro. John Cena is the one that came out and said, I'm going to ruin wrestling. The Rock is the one that's actually trying to do it for real. Oh, Jesus.
You saw that, right?
Crazy. Yeah, that's a crazy fall. That's wild. Holy shit. Yeah, that's wild.
Bro, it's like he's lifeless, though. Right?
For that to happen, right in the middle of a game is just, what the hell, dude?
Dude, he jumped. Hell no, bro. Look at this. Clear. This was done on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
The ball's nowhere near him. It's like he leaps.
So, yeah. We're headed to Backlash. Draft on Sunday. Slow night at MLB. Games are wrapping up.
Oh, my God.
Tonight's slate.
Tweet of the day.
Jesus. Yeah, it's tough being the Pirates.
Yeah, that whole Rock interview was ridiculous. It really was. It did more harm than good. Someone should have told him, like, shut up.
Nobody can tell him, dog. He's the man. He's the final boss. Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him what he can and can't do?
I wonder if Steve Austin's going to get attacked by these new school fans with what Steve Austin said today. Man, I'm still a little old school on that. I'm a big Magic fan. But if Harry Houdini is still around, and I don't want him to tell me how he does it. I want to figure out how he does it. And if I can't, then I'm going to keep wondering. I'm going to keep watching. I know it's not magic. It's an illusion. But let me keep wondering about the illusion. Stone Cold talking about the new Unscripted show. And here's Coach. For all you who came after me and Vince Russo for the exact same take, are you going to go after Stone Cold? No one ever said we don't know it's predetermined. But like Stone Cold says, it doesn't mean I want to put it right in front of me all the time. Give me the illusion. Thank you, Steve. That was Coach's tweet today. Coach is 100% right. These fans have been coming after Coach and Vince because they've been ridiculing the shit about this Unscripted show.
Yeah.
And guess what? For all you Vince
apart.
Russo haters out there, I agree with him on this. I'm going to watch the show because the show is going to be there for me to watch. Because now curiosity just kicked in. But if you never offered me that, I wouldn't even ask for it.
I got to see Triple H's side. That's how I'm looking at it.
Like,
I got to see what was really going on there.
Like, don't.
This has potential to be, Hard Knocks 2.0 right
And
here.
it's funny because Triple H was preparing us for this. You know why I say that? Because of that podcast interview he did not too long ago before WrestleMania started about these old timers are mad about kayfabe and how things are these days, but they're making their own podcast and telling you life behind the scenes. That's not the same thing. It's a podcast where I can't see the backstage. I can't see the big white board. I can't see the meeting of people when you're sitting there talking about bookings. And guess what? On top of that whole thing with the old timers telling me things, old timers also like to sprinkle a little overdust.
Yeah,
To put themselves in a better, so you don't always know the truth.
It's still a promo, guys. They've been cutting promos for 50
So
years.
this Unscripted show, I'm gonna watch it because I have no you got my interest.
I'm gonna tune in.
Like even Paul Heyman said it. Like I don't want to do this, but I know if I don't want to be a part of this, I'm not going to be on TV. I'm not going to be a part of the show. No one's going to see me. It's not going to help enhance me. So I'm just going to go with the flow. A lot of the guys don't like it. Undertaker doesn't like it. Yeah. Undertaker has come out on his podcast and said he don't like it. So for people to get mad at Russo and all that, that's just crazy.
Well, I mean, wrestling fans are mad about everything. They'll continue to be mad about everything. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, it's feeling like we're getting to that point in time where we've discussed everything. We've turned every stone on tonight's podcast. We broke down a little bit of what we thought as far as the ramifications of players drafted to certain teams and what that could forecast for them. We gave you a little sneak preview of what we think is to become of the NFC East, the NFC North. Quarterbacks getting taken. What's going to happen with the situation where the QB room in Cleveland? Who's going to be the week one starter in Cleveland? Are they going to be able to get themselves out from underneath one of the worst contracts in the history of sports with Deshaun Watson?
Yes.
And how long before we see Shedeur Sanders out on the field? Because as he fell lower and lower down the draft board, the big story of the draft, the entirety of the weekend, was when is Shedeur going to get picked? So all eyes are on Shedeur Sanders. There's more attention on Shedeur Sanders right now than Cam Ward. Everything that happens with Shedeur Sanders is going to be held under a microscope. If he doesn't get the opportunity to start, the side that was hating and doubting on him and cheering as he didn't get drafted is going to say, you see, we were right about him. This is why he got picked where he did. It's a storyline that is going to play out before our very eyes the entirety of the summer. So get comfortable, kick back, grab a cold beverage, and get ready to talk about it. Because as of right now, unless anything changes, the 40-something-year-old Joe Flacco is looking like the starter for this football team. Who everything, sort of like we try to do on this podcast. And they got Quinshon Judkins. That's the craziest thing out of it all. The thing that goes completely under the rug is the fact that they have one of my favorite running backs out of this class with their team, and he's going to be great because the other one's too old to produce, and he's better than whoever else they have there, including Matt's beloved Jerome Ford. Sorry, it's over. It's over for Jerome Ford. It's over for Nick Chubb. It's over. It's Quinshon Judkins' yard. He's the big dog out in Cleveland in the dog pound. All right. Are the Jets going to win more games than the Steelers? We don't know.
I know.
It's about to be.
It ain't.
It's about to be May. So we're
It's gonna be May.
We're pretty far removed still. But nonetheless, next week, same time, same place, coming to you live. Going to be looking at round 2 of the NBA playoffs. We'll look at the matchups there. We'll look at what's going on in the world of baseball. And we will also be taking a look back at our rookie draft from this Sunday that has been rescheduled to 5:30, which I think is great for everybody. We'll be able to talk through that, the rookies that we acquired, the trades that happened since then. And, the saga continues per usual, ladies and gents. Thank you to everybody who took the time to lock in with us. If you haven't already, please take the opportunity right now to like and share the
Hop
episode.
on the YouTube page, subscribe.
Subscribe to the YouTube page. We'd greatly appreciate it. We appreciate all the feedback on tonight's episode. Had a lot of fun going all over and talking about a little bit of everything. And man,